Hi all, it's Brendan, and I'm going to do a recording of the EVM Hello World on Injective. So I've just released version 0.4.0 recently, and you might notice that the last time I did a video was on 0.2.0. So I've skipped the 0.3.0 and 0.3.2 releases that I've done in between, but you know, I just wanted to get finished. Anyway, as usual, I will do a run through and narrate my own comments. This is a DX self-audit, or micro DX self-audit, I should say. But at the same time, I am now going to use the freshly minted summary stats section and get some output as well, so I can know exactly how long it took me to run it. This does not include the time it takes for Gitpod to spin up, but that's roughly in the ballpark of an additional minute. So whatever the setup duration you see, in the summary stats, make that, just plus 1 minute, and that'll give you a rough idea of the total time taken. All right, let's begin. The time now is 21:03. So open up the Gitpod in a new tab. Wait for that to spin the wheels, create a container image, etc. And now it's initializing the VS Code workspace and the Git repo, etc. So, right, hit the return key when ready to proceed. I'm going to press new. I still haven't fixed that bug where it doubles up on the first input, right? Default JSON RPC URL. All right. So the .env file open, which is great, and I also see the output, right? To begin, run the following command for the first step. So I'm going to do, I think the setup script ended earlier than it should have. Yeah, because the terminal was closed. Yeah, the terminal was closed. Let's check the nohub.out. Right. Okay, so the npm install has indeed been done. All right, so let's do 0.0, I guess. All right, account lookup. So I like that it's opened the file automatically. So account lookup. Oops. All right, now I've got some instructions. Maybe these instructions should be put in an info box to highlight this. Okay, so I need to copy this, and then I need to open this, go to the faucet, paste the EVM address, press request tokens, wait for that spinner. Yep. Still waiting. Still waiting. The Thunder count is quite possibly the longest wait time in this entire process. Right, so check again later. Okay, so there's something I've done here. So now this continue after funding account, right? Okay, it looks like even though that gave me an error or warning, sort of, the funding actually did go through in the end. So I've got my balance and what have we accomplished, and you can see all the things that have happened. Great, so that's much more educational. Now I'm going to do run O1 compile. Right, so this is, I'm going to run npx hardhat compile, right? So I run that. Okay, so that's the Solidity output, the solc output, and it has opened the artifacts file, so it has got the ABI, and it has also got the bytecode, the EVM bytecode. That's great, so that's exactly what it says. All right, suggesting to run the next step, O2. Alright, so now I'm going to run some tests, I guess. Alright, so npx hardhat test, going to run that now. And here are the tests that I'm running, counter.test.js. So it looks like upon deployment, the value is 0, then I call the increment with the value 100, and then I increment again, and so the value query increases each time. Okay, so the tests have passed, right? You can see the tests, and then this is some gas analysis, I guess. Okay, /o3 deploy. Right. Let's see. So check account funds. All right. So I already have one injective with that many decimal places. Here's my account if I want to open it, so I can actually see my account in the Block Explorer. Ooh, what's up with this? So there's clearly a bug in the Block Explorer where it's showing that I have a balance of 0, even though the JSON RPC says I have a balance of 1. So something's up there. Alright, I'm going to run the deploy script. So that's npx hardhat run for the deploy script and specify the flag of injective testnet. Alright, so smart contract has been deployed, load deployment data, and so I think that this deploy completed with the URL, that should probably appear here, because I would already have access to that, right? Like, yeah, I already have the smart contract address, so I should be able to construct this. So load deployment data probably should just, output the transaction hash, I think. Yeah. Anyway, the info box is over here, tells me what I've done. Great. /for verify. Run the next step. Right, so this one's for loading deployment data, and then using that to verify the smart contract using the BlockScout API via hardhat. Right, so let's do that. All right, so it's picked up the deployed address and the deployment transaction that was constructed, or I should save to disk using O3 deploy. So that works. So we're going to continue with the verify thing, and it's opened up the smart contract so that I can see it. Note to self that maybe I should have VS Code with the plugin facility installed from the get-go. I'm not sure if that's possible, but if it is, I should definitely have that configured. All right, so verification successful, and I can see this smart contract source code. Right. Yes, so I see the source code, and I see the ABI. Where is the ABI? Code, ABI. Aha. Okay, so there was a bug, maybe, in the rendering of this. Note to self, follow up with the engineering team on that, why the ABI didn't appear originally. I realized I forgot to check something in the deploy step, so I'm going to scroll up to the previous output. Aha, yes, this was it. So I want to open this and see whether it goes to the bytecode section, which it should have. Yeah, it went straight to the bytecode. Awesome. Okay, back to verify, and then I've got the info box. That's great. /05 interact.js, and here we go. So load deployment data. So I've got smart contract address and I've got the ABI truncated, which is great. And then initialize the RPC provider. So I've got an account address, and then initialize smart contract. So actually, note to self, whenever I initialize RPC provider, maybe I should output the JSON RPC URL as well. Maybe. All right, initialize smart contract. I wonder what I could output here. I don't think I could, right? Maybe the Block Explorer URL for it, perhaps. Okay, query smart contract. All right, counter value before transaction is 0. Great. Note to self, maybe I should have some output indicating that like what to make of the n. So basically reference that as a big integer. All right, transaction for the smart contract. So that's something I added recently, just progressively reveal the information so that the waiting time appears to be less. It looks like there's a illusion of progress almost, but basically it's one giant wait for that transaction. Also, the engineering team seems to have sped the transactions up a bit. I think the scalability issues have been getting addressed while it's in this beta stage since the main testnet launch, so that's great. So I've got transaction hash, and I can view the transaction in Block Scout, the Block Explorer. I can see, yep, it's interacted with the counter contract, and right, yeah, because it's got the ABI, it's got this decoded input data, so it can see that I called the increment function and passed in a value of 7 to its only parameter. Alright, now query smart contract again, and I get the value, counter value after transaction is 7, so that's great, interact complete. Another idea is maybe for the info boxes I should pause as well, because I noticed that every time there's an info box it sort of over scrolls almost, and I miss the final section's output. So yeah, maybe what have we accomplished that should have a log wait from the logger as well. Okay, so I've got the info box which tells me what I've done. That's great. Okay, so the final one I guess is 06 stats, and it'll tell me what I've done. So I've got summary stats. So it took me 54 seconds for the setup and almost 5.5 minutes to do the run through. Now if I add 1 minute for Gitpod to set up, so that's 2 minutes basically for setup and 5.5 minutes for performing the steps, that's 7.5 minutes. That's well under the 10-minute target for running through this. Now I think I should be able to get it down a little bit better, a little bit more shortly, but requires more optimizations. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching. Hope you try this out, and please do drop your feedback in the comments on this video or on my tweets, etc. You know, wherever you can find me posting about this. Yeah, just try out the Injective EVM Hello World yourself and let me know your feedback so that I can improve your developer experience. Thank you.